if you don't work in video games, you don't get a say when it comes to the issue of crunch. I mean, you get a say, but fuck off. I am so tired of seeing people go online. Like this guy I agree with. He basically, people were talking about crunch at Cyberpunk. And I guess this guy Yongye, who's a real popular YouTube game guy, was talking about it in a video, and this guy's comment was, "What a cruel world," one comment sarcastically begins, "being employed during a pandemic where thousands are fired every minute and being paid for extra hours at the office, and then on top of it you get a bonus. Really unacceptable and heartbreaking." I agree, by the way. But what I'm tired of is shit like mandating crunch after promising not to is not a good look. Or this guy, Justin McDaniel, who works with Jim Sterling. He says, and I like Jim, I've always gotten along with Jim. "Have you noticed that everyone defending crunch always follows it up with, 'I've had to crunch overtime at my job,' that age-old mentality of, if I had to suffer, everyone else does too." And I'm like, well, who is this guy? So I go to his thing, and he is a director, writer, animator, game dev, designer, art director, editor, producer. And he does a lot of things, and I'm like, oh, well, what games has he made? So I go to his itch thing. He's like, "Hi, I'm Justin McDaniel. I'm an indie game developer who's working on a bunch of small game ideas." Okay, I'm not mocking the guy or anything. I'm just saying, dude, you're not in the club. You're less in the club than I am, okay? And it's not that I'm like, you don't get to have an opinion, but you don't know anything. Here's the deal, Justin. If you and Jim Sterling make a video about Cyberpunk, and I like Jim Sterling, he's funny and he's nice, and I like the guy. I like his content when I get a chance to watch it. But if you motherfuckers make a video about Cyberpunk that has anything to do with Cyberpunk other than the crunch, then shut the fuck up. Because I'm so tired of seeing people come online and go, "This is unacceptable. We want the devs to be happy, quality of life." More than half those people are there day one playing those fucking games that they're complaining about. So, you either put up, you shut up. Listen, I complained about Activision in China. Guess what? I don't give Activision my money anymore. I get free codes, okay, but I don't give them my money anymore. But if you, look, I'll respect you, Justin, if it turns out that you're absolutely right and you guys are opposed to CD Projekt Red's crunch and you just choose to no longer partake. But all these people that complain but still dip their toes in the waters of the very games they're complaining about how they're made, I'm just sick of. I'm tired of it. It's capitalism. You don't have to work at these fucking companies. You know what you're getting into if you sign up for a big company like CD Projekt Red. You know what you're getting into if you sign up at Naughty Dog or Rockstar or Sony Santa Monica. If you don't, you're not smart enough to be working there in the first place. I know they promised you wouldn't have to crunch. Shit happens. This is $100+ million game. It is an incredibly important franchise for that studio. And they have said, look, we have to make our date. We're going to do our best to make it easy on you. What is it I saw? The last they asked was 7 days. They didn't ask for 8 months. They asked for 7 days. And I know they've been on crunch before, but I'm just like, look, man, that's life in the fucking big leagues, baby. You don't have to do that job. There are development jobs that you don't have to take, and that you can take smaller development jobs that don't have that that level of stress. I hated crunch. I didn't enjoy it, but that's what the job is. It's like being a plumber that complains that you got to deal with shit and fecal paste all day. That's the job, motherfucker. That's what you signed up for. MD says you could be cooking in a kitchen 14 hours a day. Quit complaining. I don't have a problem if they want to, if somebody walks away. I respect that. If Justin McDaniel goes to work at Naughty Dog and he's there for 4 months and he says, wait, you guys told me there'd be no crunch and there is crunch, I'm fucking out of here and I'm pissed. I respect that. But I don't respect it that if you go to these companies that you know they're going to crunch and you act like, oh, what is this? This is unacceptable. No, that's making video games, baby. Welcome to the jungle. I mean, look, there's companies that don't crunch, like Clay. Go work there. There's companies that do crunch, but they do their best to be human about it. And there's companies that are fucking awful. On God of War and Twisted Metal, we've always crunched. Not like Rockstar or San Diego, but it would be exactly that. It's like, oh, you guys worked on the weekend, take off Monday. Andreas drops a super chat. I appreciate it. He says, Jaffe, I fully support people in crunch to complain to their chains. I don't understand people outside of that complaining. It's a passion for a lot of us. Right. Yeah, if you're in a studio and you feel something is bad, say something. If you're crunching because it is like this story that's happening at Ubisoft where Michael Ansel, who was the director of Beyond Good and Evil 1 and King Kong and Rayman and also BGE 2, they're like, this guy's changing his mind constantly. He's a nightmare. It's toxic. It's creating all this extra work. And I've been accused of that as well, of not being an asshole so much, but making changes on the fly, which you have to do. It's a balance because making games is iterative, but at the same time, it's a process. But if you're in that kind of company, yeah, you have a right to complain to your bosses and your colleagues and say, we have to make this better. If you want to go home at 6 o'clock, I respect it, says Wrath. This goes back to entitlement. You don't get to work with the A-team. That's not how greatness gets made. That's perfect. Just put that on a bumper sticker. That's absolutely right. You want to work with the A-team, you play like a goddamn A player. That's how it works. Sorry you don't get to work on the big titles, but I want to. I know, but the big titles require an insane level of sacrifice. It may not be for you, but I want to. I know. That's how it goes, baby.